It's the start of a new year, and there's this expectation that we should be all geared up with goals, ready to conquer and make this the best year we've ever had. But what if you're feeling passionless? What if you don't even know what your goals should be this year? What if are you just feeling kind of lost? Well, today I'm going to tell you why you might be feeling lost and passionless, and how to get your groove back. Today, I have a very special guest. If you are watching the video, you will see my 2-year-old Parrish is with us. So if there's some mic bumps or table knocks or anything, that's because he's with me. Yeah. So we're just doing this as a mommy does. So, all right, let's talk about this time of year. Who I consider myself quite a queen, a goal queen, and I start thinking about what my new year is going to look like starting in October, September. You have a bonks on your hand?
No, I have one bumps.
Oh, okay. You want a nurse? You want some milk?
No.
Okay. But this year, I have to be honest with you. I have been feeling a little bit lost. And today, as I was driving in the car, it occurred to me 3 things that stand in the way of passion. 3 things that make it very challenging to figure out what is it that I really want. Yeah. So at first, I remember a conversation I had with a relative of mine years ago. Gosh, almost 20 years ago. And uh, Parrish, you're hilarious. Hey, let's have some milk. It's okay. And I remember she was in her mid 40s and she was feeling really lost herself. She was feeling very passionless. And, but I remember her saying, like, that she had a dream that she always wanted to open up a flower shop. She wanted to be a florist, and that would be so lovely just to work with beautiful flowers every day. And I asked her, like, well, why don't you? And she sighed and said, well, it's just easier to keep going. And that that would just be too big of a change for where she is at. But what I really identified in what she was saying was I could see the exhaustion that registered on her whole being. She was exhausted. And that might be you. I think especially after the holidays, as a mama, you are creating the magic of the season for everybody. Now, you might be like me and be really, really lucky to have a husband who pitches in very significantly to making the holiday magic. But even then, as a parent, it is challenging when you have this whole month that's dedicated to celebrations and it's on you to create them. So that could be part of it. But honestly, I believe that our current lifestyle in the Western world is one that celebrates exhaustion and that urges us to just, when we're empty, to keep pushing. To me, that's a recipe for disaster. That's a recipe for burnout, for illness, for dis-ease. That's what happens when we try to give from an empty cup. So, this might seem counterintuitive, but can I offer you some grace? That you have this permission slip to right now, at the beginning of this year, set down your goals and take care of yourself. You need to nurture yourself. If you're like me, I gained some holiday weight. I ate all of the things that I wanted to, often because they were simply there. Not because I just couldn't wait to have that taste or whatever. It was like, yeah, it's the holidays, right? It's the holidays. So then we end up with this residual guilt for having overindulged. And we feel bad because we didn't even really enjoy it in the first place, or we feel like, well, but it's the holidays. And if I withheld, if I didn't indulge in that, then I would have felt like I was depriving myself and I deserve I deserve to overeat and get fat, all right? That's what I say to myself. And so it's just we're a big complicated ball of feelings. So you have this guilt, you have this exhaustion, you have this, oh, I should really have all these goals now, and it's just January 1st, I should have hit the gym, hit it hard. And we end up making all of these goals that are based out of shoulds or fears, and instead of coming from a place of love. That's like a whole nother podcast. So, but at the same time, why are you passionless? Why are you struggling with what should my goals be? What should they even be? It might be because you are just exhausted and that your energy is depleted. And the best thing that you need to do is, like I said, set down those goals and pick up a cup of tea and go take a nap, girl. And start cooking foods that make you feel better. I know for me, when I was overindulging this holiday season and I would eat the sugary things or the chocolatey things or even the glass of wine, I didn't really enjoy the way my body responded in the moment of eating it. Like, yeah, it tastes good in my mouth, but I had this energy buzz that didn't feel it just didn't feel good. It wasn't a high vibration. It was a low vibration. And it's gosh, I found that so challenging because I want to take care of myself. I want to do what's best, but at the same time, I don't want to miss out. I don't want to miss out on all the holiday fun and holiday cheer and all of the, well, this is what you're supposed to do. And I fell into the trap of, I guess, bad traditions. Like, not isn't like it's not bad, but it doesn't, it's not helpful to me. And it's really hilarious that we do this to ourselves where we're already stressed out and then we eat all this sugary fatty foods and drink extra alcohol or whatever it is that you may indulge in as well and it makes us physically feel worse and mentally like we're not performing at our best when we are in a sugar rage or like a caffeine overstimulated and your kids are home from break or you homeschool your kids like I do and you got everybody there and all of it on top of all of it. It's just overwhelming. And we sabotage ourselves with our poor nutrition and habits and we end up staying up later and getting poor sleep. So, in this time to nurture yourself, giving yourself space. What if January, oh, sorry, I don't know what I was doing there. What if January was a time of refreshment and nourishment and rebuilding gently? Would that feel really good? What if we did that and maybe we even save goal setting for February or March? Whoever designed our calendar was not a logical individual because the start of the year should not be in the dead of winter. I don't think so. Don't you think the start of the year should be in the spring when life comes back? That makes sense to me. So, what if we actually had our goals start in March? When, depending on where you live, I grew up in Anchorage, Alaska, and March was still winter, hardcore still winter. You're not seeing a lick of spring until maybe May. Like May pretty much is the 1 month of spring in Alaska. Um, and then you have 2.5 months of summer after that. So eh, depending on, but March is a time when the world wakes up in this hemisphere. And it just, you feel motivated because you're getting out into the sunshine and you're getting that vitamin D and the world is waking up and you get inspired. It's great. And that's another thing. We're trying to set goals in the winter. We have to be aware. So this is point number 2, cycles. In the wintertime, nature is quiet. it is hibernating, it is rejuvenating. The things that we want to eat are like soup and bread, homemade bread and warm, cozy drinks and you just want to sit on the couch and watch Netflix and read books and sit by the fire and really do a lot of nothing. And that's beautiful. That is a wonderful thing that I think everybody ought to do. It's kind of a whole lot of nothing in the winter. Except like play board games together and chat and I don't know. Lately, we ended up getting so here's a side note about things to do in the winter. We got a subscription to Netflix. We had it, of course, like everybody, for a long time, and then we stopped and we used alternate streaming services. And so we decided, you know what, we're gonna do at least a couple months, and we're gonna catch up on a bunch of shows and whatnot. And so we can go ahead and it's the winter time. It's the best time to binge on all the TV things. And I have been so enjoying various documentaries. And even with the kids of finding various documentaries about like how cars are built or how things work. And actually, so technically they do not have how is it how things work or how things are made? One of those that is a great show that teaches you all about how things are made. They don't actually have that one listed currently on Netflix, so didn't want to misinform anybody. But having my kids get to watch these different documentary shows, it brings up great conversations. And I think documentaries are just a fabulous learning tool. They just are. And that is a really fun family activity also is to casually just pop on a documentary and then it just exposes you to more of the world in a beautiful way. Big fan. I'm a big fan. Alrighty. So cycles. It is the winter. We naturally want to hibernate. Why do we feel obligated to push ourselves into starting these intense exercise routines in the dead of winter, folks? That doesn't make any sense. And all these other goals that we have for ourselves. It's just tough. So maybe you don't have to do that. Maybe you can write a dream list. Does that feel better than my resolutions for the year? Because resolutions to me feels like an old school teacher standing at a chalkboard with a one of those long rulers in their hand, slapping it on their palm, just waiting to smack somebody for messing up. That's what resolutions sound like to me. I don't really like the word, but I do like goals. Goals works for me, but I do even more so. I like the dream list. As long as like you can dream about it, yes, but let's make it actionable. And again, that's a great topic for another podcast. But in our seasons, now here's another thing. As women, we have internal seasons every month. We are going through our spring, our summer, winter, and fall. And right now, I'm currently in my luteal phase and awaiting my menstruation. And typically, that is a time where we start as women to go more internal, to be drawn, to be quieter, to be less like, oh, I've got ideas and a project and I'm going to go, go, go and do. That is for our spring, which is in our follicular phase, and ovulation, our summer. And that's when we have so much energy and we want to be social. And then when it turns to our fall, when we go into our follicular phase, pardon me, our luteal phase, then that is when we start to be reflective and quieter and just kind of want to be home. And then in our winter, when we are on our bleed, that's when we really want to be home and really don't want to talk to nobody and just want to curl up and rest. And we should. So these first 2 points are about listening to your body and honoring your body and saying, screw Western culture that says, no, 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 that's very bad to try to pause or clear your schedule because you need to recover and rest and nourish yourself. Screw the culture. We need to, as women, take care of ourselves because I'm sick of the burnout. I am sick and tired of the obligation that we put upon ourselves and in our culture and that we put out into the world that, well, I've got, well, the kids have the schedules and like we really can slow our lives down and take out the crap. And that brings me to the point number 3 is our energy drains. Where in your life is your energy leaking out? It could be on, it could be various activities that you have signed up for that feel like obligations as opposed to being fulfilling to you. You need to look at when you do that thing or you think about it. Do you go, oh, yes, or do you go, ah, oh, that again? Now, that doesn't mean you necessarily have to cut all of those things out. You can also change that simply by reprogramming your thoughts regarding that thing or that person or relationship or, obligation. Is there something, maybe you volunteer somewhere and it's begun to feel unrewarding to you. Like I got to go and do it because if I don't do it, nobody else will. Well, that's a crappy reason to keep going. And you owe it to yourself to take better care. This is your life. Do you remember that? This is your life. And only you get to decide how you're going to spend your valuable, precious time. Please do not allow obligation to steal your life or your joy, your time. I realized I had a big realization of something that I was, of a wonderful organization that I was working with as a volunteer basis. And I was passionate about wanting to see it grow and whatnot. But I realized that being involved in it was taking away one of my happiest times of my life, which is evenings with my family. And and I had to think hard and I did feel really bad about having to say like I can't participate anymore right now or I choose not to participate right now because I need to take care of my family. But in my heart, it was also that like this is too valuable of a time. I love being home together in the evenings. And I know my kids have various activities. Fortunately, it's not too crazy, but there's still a fair amount of driving that's done. But the last thing I want to do is I don't want to go somewhere where I have to be on. Like I can hop in the car and drive because I get to spend time with my kids. But otherwise, I want to be at home. I want to enjoy a calm presence and just relax and come down from the day together. I get to snuggle with my kids in my rocking armchair and watch whatever show we want to watch. And I love that time of all these little bodies piled on top of me and just snuggling. Speaking of which, Parrish has fallen asleep now. And it is so we need to look at where our energy is going. And it is up to us being radically self-responsible of, you know what? I can cut that off. I can cut it, seal it, and say, okay, that's not for this season in my life right now. Or this relationship is too expensive. It costs me so much more to be a part of this relationship than what I'm getting in return. And that's not to, it sounds selfish. Well, but sometimes people just really need you. Yes, sometimes they do. But a true friend, a relationship that is worth your investment, will also give back to you in different times. So someone may be going through a really hard time, like they went through a loss or whatnot, and they need you to come alongside them. You don't have to be a jerk and go like, well, I know your husband just died, but what are you doing for me? That's ridiculous. You know that. I know that. But it's, you need to see again, is this a relationship that's actually nurturing and nourishing to you? So we're gonna, so let's recap. So that was number 4. You know me, girls. You know me in counting. So it's energy is one. Maybe you're just tired or undernourished and you need to take care of yourself and you need better sleep and you need to rest and take naps. Do that. Clear your calendar and take care of you so that then you can live fully and you can fully take care of your people and show up best in your life. Uh, then cycles. Where are you in this cycle of life? And allowing yourself to say, and this time I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna rest. And I'm gonna start thinking of dreams and goals. And I'm gonna be moving in that direction. So maybe start with something soft like, I would really love to start reading more. Make that a January goal. That's a great time to start reading. And so a soft entry and supposed to, all right, so now I got to hit the gym 5 days a week, 2 hours in the gym each time, lifting heavy, doing my PRs. Maybe not. But, it's wherever you're at. But I'm mainly talking to my girls who have been feeling like, I have no passion. I have no goals. I have no joy right now. I need help. So, seasons, and also where are you in your cycle? Recognize that, honor that. And then, thirdly, where your energy leaks, clean those up, and you will have so much more to work with. So, and then, pardon me, I got to reference my other notes. Oh, yeah, yeah. So, fourthly, another reason that you may be passionless right now and goalless is that you are separated from yourself. This is a really big one. Ladies, do not underestimate this one. So, we're going to walk through it a little bit slowly so that you really get this. We step into roles, not that slowly. Come on, Kelly. Oftentimes we lose ourselves, either in our relationships, our role as mother, our role as if you are in a career, that whatever roles you step into, it's pretty easy for us to actually lose who we are and what we want. So, sorry, I didn't silence my notifications. How rude is that? Pardon me one moment. Do, 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 do. Done. Okay. When we don't know who we are anymore, what we like, what we love, what we're passionate about, well, we don't have any passions. And so that's kind of logical. Makes sense. So, how do you go from disconnection to connection with yourself? I think the first thing that comes to mind is about getting in your body, reconnecting with your body. We, especially in the Western culture, we live in our brains. Everything is like from the neck up is how we operate our lives. This body below our shoulders is simply a machine, and you just, oh, this part's not working. Let's do some surgery. Oh, this thing feels weird. Let's take a pill. And we don't think of ourselves holistically. When we separate, when we live separately from mind, body, spirit, and we keep all those different things in a body. Oftentimes we keep our body, we lock it away. We keep our spirit, and we totally ignore that. And everything is mental. And that is how we are taught to live our lives and operate from. It's all logic. It's all planned. It's got to think about it. I got to teach you. I've got to indoctrinate you and brainwash you so that you know how to be a good, productive human being in whatever it is that you're doing. And getting reconnected with the body and with our spirits are one of the best ways to slowly reintroduce ourselves to ourselves. Who am I? Who am I? So, how do we do that? I mean, it could be as easy as stretching, walking. As we are moving, we place our awareness in our body. How do our feet feel as they walk on the ground, connecting to the earth? And this doesn't have to be woo woo, but go ahead and make it if you want. I like woo woo a lot. So it's notice what it feels like to just lay on your bed and feel the weight of your body on your hips, your feet, your heels into the cushions, your shoulder blades, your head. Notice what it feels like to be human. Just right now, I want you to take your hands and I want you to kind of just rub your fingers and your thumb together against, like almost like you're making a fist, but then just rub. Feel that. That's you. This is you. It's beautiful. It's wonderful. You know what? I immediately think of my grandmother's hands, probably because I'm getting older. My hand feels a lot older than I've really, connected with my hands before. And when I think of her hands and I think of them as so precious. And you are too. You are so precious. Maybe there's a special person that is not here anymore, that in body, that you wished you could have held their hand one more time. Oh my goodness. I I don't know if that's tangential or not, but it is about connection. It's a connection to love. It's a connection to ourselves and to others. It's so important to get into our body. And I tell you, that's something I struggle with, that I need to be intentional about as well, because I were up here. And it's hard sometimes to turn our brains off. But I think the best thing we can do when we get into those monkey mind states that they say, it's called a monkey mind, and we can't just turn our brains off, connect with our bodies, breathe, just do some nice slow breaths and notice how it feels in your body. And then with your spirit as well. Just can you take 5 minutes to be quiet? I know you can, even if I love long hot showers, love them. And I have passed this possibly very wasteful habit on to my children. And we all, it's hard to get any of us out of the showers. We just love being in hot water. And that is a wonderful time to come into our bodies because, you wake up in the morning or maybe it's after your workout and you take a shower. You slowly move your neck side to side in the hot water. You're just naturally start to do some stretching in there as you allow yourself to just kind of have the tension melt away. Allow that also in your mind. Have that quiet space. If you want, a tip is to kind of imagine a clear white room and there's just nothing in there. And it's okay you don't have to have anything revelationary happening. Is that a new word? Revelationary. Yes, I think this is a new old word for me. I like this word a lot. It's just simply this quiet space to breathe in your mind. And you can ask God or source, hey, your guides, show me today, what is it that I need to see today? But oftentimes, I don't know, if you're like me, it's not uncommon for me to wake up and feel like, oh, I gotta do this and I gotta take care of that and I gotta help this person and it just kind of feels like you're entering the war zone. Like, oh, here we go. Here we go. You're 60 miles an hour as soon as you step out of bed. Have this space to just be in a state of love. This is one of my favorite things ever, is to spend those 5 beautiful minutes of just being in a space of love. If you need to, like, what is it? How do I get into a space of love? Think about something just that made you feel all warm and fuzzy inside. It could be when your husband proposed. It could be snuggling with your child. It could be all sorts of things. Petting a horse would be on my list. Like, oh my gosh, the utter peace and calm of equines, just touching a horse. Oh my gosh. There's, and you just allow yourself to be in this, you're raising your vibration so high. There's nothing higher than love. And if you can get into that place in the morning, as you're beginning your day, even if you can do that when you're in bed, for me though, I would probably fall asleep again. So I have to be up. But that is a wonderful way to connect with yourself. All right, so we've connected in body and spirit, and we're getting our minds quiet. How do you know who you are now after with all of this? It might be really fun in this month, in this season of life, to go ahead and revisit some of those personality tests. Because if you're like me, I mean, I've taken, I don't know, 6 or 7 different kinds before in the past, and they all have an interesting flavor, but that it's going to remind you of some of your early dreams. And that's another talking about early dreams. So personality test, that's a great way. But when you were little, what did you love to do? What did you want to do? As when I grow up, I'm gonna blah blah. I don't know why. Immediately, I pictured myself driving in a car in the back seat, and it was right after we had watched Top Gun at home, and we were driving down the mountainside in Anchorage, Alaska, and you could see the city out there, and I was just in the back pretending I was Maverick, and that I was, oh my gosh, I was going to be the best driver of cars ever, just like my Maverick in the plane. But me in a car, I was gonna. Oh, I had some great goals there. I'm an okay driver. I am by no means record breaking, but it was hilarious. But what did you like to do? What got you jazzed? Was it art? Was it drawing? Was it reading? Was it being? Were you a super imaginative kid like most kids are? That's kind of how we're programmed, and then we get deprogrammed from that and say, "Oh, grow up. Oh, that's babyish. Stop being so silly." But that's a wonderful thing. Maybe that's what you need to do. Maybe you need to lay down for a nap and start daydreaming until it becomes an actual dream. I think it's a great idea. Get to know yourself again. What do you really love? I mean, this also goes for your wardrobe and your style and things that you're drawn to. Hey, babe. So, once I think you take a look at those 4 points and reflect on where you're at right now, I think you're going to get some refreshment and you're going to discover your passions again. You're going to find some new ones, you're going to revisit some old ones, and it's really going to help you to create this incredible year ahead. So, to wrap up, what if you spent this year really listening to yourself? That means listening to your body, listening to your heart, listening to your spirit. Wow. That I feel that would make some really huge shifts for you. I think it would do a lot in cleaning up like those energy leaks, creating a clearer direction for you right now. Can we talk just a minute about life purpose? So that's something that feels really big to me when people say, "So what is your life purpose?" Like, I don't know. What do you have one? I have many. I have many life purposes. I am, I want to be the best wife that I can be. I want to be the best mom that I can be to each of my children. I want to, I want to honor myself and fulfill all the different talents and desires and passions that I have. So, well, heck, I don't know. I think we have different purposes for different seasons in life. And that is great. Like right now, I am so thankful that I finally reconciled myself to, I want the majority of my energy to go to being a mother and a wife right now. That's what I want. Would I like to build this a big, wonderful business that helps millions of women around the world and go and be a public speaker and be on stage? And oh, yeah, I would absolutely love that. I think that would be so fun. And I would love to do retreats and workshops and all sorts of things. But you know what? I will be so sad that if I was deep doing all of those things right now, in 10 years, I would look back and I would be sad because I missed all of what I currently get to experience. As there's that little guy. This to me is my life's gold. I was telling my husband last night, as he said, oh, we were talking about traveling together without children. And he's wistfully said, oh, I can't wait for that. I can't wait. I mean, I know right now we're just kind of paying our dues and we need to take care of our people and whatnot, but I just can't wait for a season of life with just you again. And and I love that. That was so romantic. But I had to admit to him, honey, right now I am living my greatest joy and desires. Like, this is the greatest fulfillment of my life. I have you and I have these beautiful little people. And I told him how the day before I was snuggled up with my littlest as we were falling asleep and I was sobbing because tomorrow he's going to be a day older and I won't have this little person at this, just the way he is. And he laughed and said, we're all a day older. The next day, I was like, yes, 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 I know. But this to me is this is the golden years of my life and of getting by being able to be a mother and to be home with my children and to create life through them and with them and for them. So, all right, girls, wrapping it up. Thank you so much for spending time with me. And I hope you have a beautiful, gentle entry into one of the most magical, beautiful years of your life. Happy 2026. And thanks again for being with me today. Before we close today, I want to share a little something special with you. Years ago, during my littlest's nap time, I wrote a children's story called The Bee Hotel. It's a soft, whimsical read aloud about family, creativity, and wonder, and a rather tenacious 8-year-old who decides to start her own bakery. Well, this week I've begun recording it chapter by chapter as a gentle audio story, and it's now available for my paid subscribers here on Substack. If you're craving slowness, imagination, or a sweet story to listen to with your children or for yourself, I'd love to invite you to that space. If today's conversation stirred something in you, I'd love to stay connected. The very best place to find me and to really be a part of what we're building is on Substack. That's where I share my weekly letters, the behind the scenes, our family life, and the deeper teachings that I can't always fit into the podcast. So you can join me at wholewomanawakening.substack.com. And if you're listening on a podcast app, following the show helps more women find these conversations. I am so glad you're here. Thank you for being part of this awakening.